Hey folks, welcome back to the podcast, Evil Dungeon Master Universe Podcast. I am your host, Evil Dungeon Master Vince. It's Friday. It's time for the weekend. Hopefully you got a game going on. I do not. Got some plans this weekend, so no gaming for me. Hopefully you have something going on. But today, we're going to continue along with talking about advanced Dungeons and Dragons, what everyone's here to talk about. But first, theevildm.com is my website. Ask the Evil DM at the AskTheDM at theevildm.com is my email address, and you can support me by going to ko-fi.com/theevildm. With that all out of the way, let's talk a little bit about today. We're going to look at today's question. Today we're asking a question most 1E players don't really want to admit they've asked or talked about. Was the fighter actually a good class, or was it just a class you took when you didn't know better? So the fighter is a pretty basic class. There's no skills involved with the fighter. There's no spells. There's no tricks. It's whatever you see, what you get. They have hit points. They have armor. They have attacks. That's about it. They are your tank. They're the frontline fighter. They are the ones. They're going to step in front and take the hits and defend the weaker characters. They're your frontline people. Now, they get one attack per round until level 7, and then they get the whole 3/2 thing. Though, there is a rule that a lot of people do forget about, that all creatures with less than 1 hit dice entitle a fighter to attack once for each of his or her levels of experience. Which generally, when you're at lower levels, say you're level 2 and you're fighting half hit dice or a quarter hit dice, the fighter gets an attack on every one of those creatures for how many levels he has. So if you're fighting against like 6 goblins, or for example, and they're the lower end of the goblins because you modified them to be a little bit weaker, and say they have a half or whatever, your fighter will get 2 attacks for each of them. So don't count them out. They can be wiping them out real easily when they can. They have their advantages at lower levels. When it comes to weapons, they have a choice of just about anything. There's no real restrictions on weapons for when it comes to fighters. Now, I'm not talking about things from Oriental Adventures or stuff like that, something really specialized, but run-of-the-mill weapons that are laying around, a fighter pretty much can pick it up and jump right into battle with it. He gets 4 weapon proficiencies and can choose whatever the heck he really wants. Now, he gets no real special power from that, just the fact that he gets to use those weapons and not have a disadvantage. And even if he does have a disadvantage, he's still a -2 when it comes to a random weapon that he's not that familiar with compared to everybody else that gets a higher negative there. Now, looking at it versus a thief or a magic user, yeah, it's probably kind of dull. There's not much you can do. It's just kind of, I attack, I attack, I attack. Not much more you really can do. So what do they do best? What do they do well? Well, they take the hits. They could wear the best armor. They have the best pretty much hit dice when it comes to hit points. T10. I'm not talking about adding in Unearthed Arcana when they start going into the wackiness there. Simplicity, it's, easy for new players. There's no real subsystem to track. There's nothing really to track other than hit points and armor class and your 2 hit charts and stuff. Magic items, well, a fighter really benefits from magic items when it comes to a treasure haul. They have the run of the mill. They can put on just about anything as long as it's not specifically meant for a certain class. Rings, gauntlets, armor, magical weapons. They're like, yeah, give it to me. I'd do it. And then once you get to 9th level, you're a warlord. And you basically have your small army. At least you can start doing that. Do most people get to 9th level? Probably not. I don't know many people that actually go that. And I think I've discussed this multiple times on different podcasts and different streams that I've done, that most people don't really get up to 9th level, 10th level. They just kind of pitter out mid-level. 5th, 6th level, most people kind of pitter out. Because most people get bored. Not at the class itself, but just at the game. Most people want to move on, do things like that. That's pretty much what they do well. Now, There's another thing that they have. In Unearthed Arcana, the fighter gets a little bit more of a little boost. I don't know if maybe Gary was trying to balance it out because of all the other things, but they get the weapon specialization. Now, a lot of people have said the weapon specialization is kind of a quote unquote trap for a fighter. Because in Unearthed Arcana, a fighter gets weapon specialization. So suddenly they get this one really good weapon, which counts for 2 weapon proficiency slots. And they get +1 to hit, +2 to damage, and they get extra attacks using just this weapon. But now you only have to use just this weapon because you wasted 2 of your slots. Or maybe you didn't waste them. It's really up to how you look at it. And you have 2 other weapon proficiencies, but when it comes to being the fighter, you're going to want to use this specialization of +1 to +2 damage when it comes to attacking all the time, especially at lower levels. You're going to want to have that advantage. There's really no flexibility when it comes to that. You want that. But hey, you can double specialize, making it a +3/+3, which unlike anyone else, you can't do that. Did the UA or Unearthed Arcana, did it really save a fighter or balance a fighter? Did it break the fighter? In a sense, I think it kind of limited the fighter with this weapon specialization because it made them reliant on one thing. And when it comes to that, it gets a little dull. I mean, sure, you can use other weapons, but you don't get that bonus. And just about anybody that's playing a fighter wants any advantage they can get when it comes to attacking in battle. So, think about that. The real problem with fighters is they don't scale. At higher levels, you got wizards rewriting reality, burning things down, bringing the ground to the ceiling and things like that. Clerics. Yeah, I'm at a store. Going to the clerk. Clerics turn undead armies, teleport, plane shift, can heal, resurrect. What's a fighter doing? I'm swinging my sword just a bunch of times. Yay. It's not that they're really bad, it's just that there was no real thought into maybe making them a little bit more interesting when it came to upper levels. And the monsters scale a little bit faster than the actual fighter itself. And when it comes to saving throws and stuff like that, so a fighter has a pretty decent saving throw, but when it really counts in certain places, it doesn't really drop that fast as you'd like it to. Could we play this game without fighters? No. Fighters are needed. They are absolutely needed. Now, if you wanted something a little bit different, maybe consider playing a paladin or a ranger. Or maybe a cavalier or a barbarian, as if you don't want such limitation when it comes to a fighter. But then again, playing all these other classes, there's their limitations as well. So you have to balance that out. So are fighters worth it? Is the answer to the question today, or the question, the answer to whatever you want to call it. The short answer: at low levels, they are fabulous. At mid levels, okay, maybe. At higher levels, they're kind of boring. With some really good magical items and possibly good tactics from a good player and a DM that respects really good combat, I would think a fighter would be very useful. The fighter isn't flashy whatsoever, but a smart player who knows what they're doing, a veteran or something, would get the job done with a fighter. They would know how to protect and use a fighter in battle when it comes to jumping in the middle or distracting or taunting a creature off of the magic user, for example. So, are they good? Sometimes boring gets the job done, I guess. I don't know. Fighter is always a good class for a new player to play because there's not enough to worry about while they learn the game. I like to call that the easy class to learn. We ever play video games and they're like, pick this class, it's easy. This class is intermediate. This class is hard. So fighter is like the basic easy class to jump into that you can play a game and not have to worry about stuff, but still understand the game and have some fun along with the adventure. Now, fighter isn't all that bad, so you have to make the decision yourself. Tell me what you think in the comments below about a fighter. I just want to take a quick kind of like a little look at a fighter here today and talk about how it would work in battle and stuff like that. And looking at the class, just kind of going over it. I don't think we've ever really. I mean, maybe in the beginning of Roll for Initiative, we went over all these classes and we kind of just chatted about them. But I think it's a good time to refresh on some of these classes and just kind of give them a little overview look, some commentary on them. And it's good podcast material as well for you guys. So tell me what you think in the comments below. Don't forget to like the videos or heart the videos, depending where you are. With that said, I'm going to head out. Hopefully you have a great weekend. Keep original, keep it old school. Good night, and God bless everybody.